Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Mary. Thank you for being here with me today. I'm very excited to have you guys here for my second full brand face video. If you want to check this one out that I have that I'm wearing currently, go ahead and click on the previous video. This is using all Muse products. There were definitely some home run products in there, so go ahead and check that one out. If you're excited to see this next video, keep watching. We're gonna go ahead and wipe this off and put on a brand new face. Alrighty, so for today's video, we are going to be taking a look at the AOA Studios makeup. Now, my understanding of this makeup brand is that they are exclusive to the website Miss A. It is their makeup brand, so I do believe most of these products you can only get on their website. I'm just doing a quick breakdown of what this project is here. Again, we are doing a full face of one brand and one brand only. For AOA here, it looks like we have a good amount of products. I think we're only missing 2 products, it looks like here. So I was unable to get a bronzer. Not sure if they were just sold out of a bronzer, if they don't have one here yet. And the other thing I did not get was a setting spray. Other than that, we've got everything else: concealers, foundations, primers, eyeshadows. The eyeshadows here, which we'll dive into here shortly, are all individual eyeshadows, which is not typically how I would go about this. However, it was a package of individual eyeshadow, so I am allowing it for this video, but typically I am looking for a full, at least a quad or a trio. So this one is going to be a little bit different. So let's go ahead and dive in. We are going to start with the eyes here. So the first thing that we're going to break into is the AOA Studios Wonder Concealer. Now, similar to the video I did previously, majority of these products are $1, with the exception of the foundation, which we'll get to when we get to the face. But the majority of these products are $1, which is super duper exciting. So this concealer here is $1. We're gonna go ahead and break this open and see what we think. None of these packages have been opened yet. I'm opening everything and doing as much of a first impressions of these for you. If there are any items that I do not list in these videos that you are interested in, leave that information in the comments down below. Also, with these being first impressions, I'm not going to do a full wear. So if there are any of these products that you want to be put to the full wear test, let me know in the comments down below as well, and I'd be happy to do that for you. All right, so let's give her an open up. Okay, so it is just like a standard doe foot applicator. Comes out really clean. The stopper in there does a really good job of like not having too much product come out. So let's go ahead and I need to grab a side mirror here. And we're gonna put these on the this on the eyes to prime them for our shadows. And to blend everything out, we are going to be using a damp blender. This one is an e.l.f. blender. It's a little tinted. However, we did just recently clean it in our previous video. That feels like it's going to have a whole lot of coverage. It's a little yellow. Holy buckets, look at that. Let's go ahead and blend that out and see what happens. Definitely a thicker consistency of a concealer. It is doing a super good job of covering up any lines or veins on my eye right now. I don't feel like I need to really dip back in. It does take a little bit to kind of work the product down and move it around because it is a lot thicker. So just kind of a quick like first impressions of it here. I think like it's showing really good coverage. It is a little tricky to kind of move around, so especially on the eyes here, I feel like I'm having to really push and pull kind of hard to get the product to actually move around, which is a little uncomfortable. So off first bat here, I'm not sure if it would be something I would continue to use as an eye base, but we'll definitely test it a little bit further here on the eyes and see kind of how it works as an under eye concealer. Maybe it will actually you know, turn out to be a really good eye base, and maybe it won't crease up too much, but that's kind of just the first impressions of it. So far, I think super great coverage, which is very exciting. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of these eyeshadows. Like I stated earlier, these are individuals, which is not what I would have preferred for these kind of videos, but the fact that it was 12 eyeshadows here for the cost of $10, and it was just a bundle, it just came in like a sealed together, I am going to accept it for this one. I think that is a great deal for 12 eyeshadows. Let's go ahead and take a look at all of them. They are all shimmers, so that I think is a little bit of a letdown. I would have preferred kind of a nice combination of some nice mattes and shimmers together. So I'm not really sure what type of look I'm going to go for here, but let's just go ahead and kind of get started. I think what I'm going to do here first is start with this shade here. I don't know if it has the name. Yep, okay, so this one is 2111 Push Pop. I'll do a quick I'll try to do a quick hand swatch here for you. Kind of see what that'll look like. Maybe I want to put that on my eye. I don't know. We'll give it a go. Let's go ahead and grab a brush here. And I'm gonna use my favorite brush. Probably use this for a lot of the videos. This is the M573 Morphe brush. We're just gonna dip right into this and kind of start applying it into the crease area. I really don't know what direction I want to go with this yet, but let's just see what happens. So just off the bat here, it's laying down a little bit of color. It is definitely sheer. It's got a shimmer to it, which is showing up a lot. However, the color is taking a bit to build up. So we're just gonna keep kind of working on that and see if we can get something that we like. And something I am also noticing here right away as I'm putting on the eyeshadows, concealer is kind of starting to crease up a little bit. See kind of how that affects the overall eyeshadows. All right, I don't think I'm getting much out of that first shade. You are kind of starting to see it build up here. However, it's not as much I was really hoping for it to be. It's definitely bringing out a little bit of the shimmer that's in there. However, not a whole lot of pigmentation. So I'm gonna try another color here. There's nothing that's quite similar to that. Next deepest color we have is this one. It is 2101 Grenade. So let's try kind of putting that on top. I'll kind of quickly do a hand swatch here for you guys. I feel like it's gonna have kind of similar payoff where it's very shimmery, but there's not a lot of color that's coming through. But we will try to kind of pile that on top, or lay that over on top and see kind of how they work together. And we're just gonna stick to the same brush here, kind of just going over that previous shade just to kind of try to make it show up a little bit more. Right away with that one, I do think it did lay down a little bit more color, a lot better than that first one did. I am going to kind of keep building that in. It still isn't quite as fully pigmented as I would generally hope for, but we might be able to kind of build it to where we want it to be. All right, I am going to quickly dip in with my finger and see if I can just kind of on the outer corner of the lid here, kind of just deepen that up just a touch. And now the feel of these eyeshadows from the two that I have dipped into so far, they are very powdery feeling. But that's not an issue. I feel like using my hand here, or my fingers here, is actually working out pretty nicely. It's not too bad. It's still pretty light, but it's something. What do I want to do next? There's this kind of like, I don't even know. To me, I would think sort of greeny says Ivy, this Ivy color that I'm really interested in. I really don't know how it's gonna look with the other two existing colors that I have on, but maybe I can do something with it. Maybe I can take Ivy here, and this one is called 2103 Gatsby. That one's very blue. Maybe we can do something with that. Let's give it a go. I think we'll start with this guy and then we'll pack Ivy kind of more in on the top. We're gonna just kind of stick to our fingers here now that we're kind of working with the eyelid. I think I'm gonna focus just using my finger. Again, this one feels super powdery, but I don't think that's too much of an issue. So let's kind of focus that on the center of the lid. Ooh. So that's the blue. Off the bat, I didn't have to dip in too much. I think the color did actually, using your finger here, build up really nicely. Let's go ahead and do the other eye. That's the Gatsby color. I'm actually very impressed how that went on. I am going to go in and try to deepen up the outer corner here a little bit more. Maybe we'll try another new color here. What's this guy? Goblin, 2016 Goblin. Let's go ahead and use our finger here again and kind of deepen up the outer part there. Hardly tapping in there. I don't want to make it too deep. Just a touch more though. And then let's go ahead and, this was 2107 Ivy. I'm gonna try putting this kind of more into the inner corner or the inner part of the lid. All right, that felt like it was nice and easy to apply. It's very similar color to the Gatsby one, but it was a little bit more on the teal side. So I think that kind of worked nice as like an inner corner there. I am going to take my brush and dip into that first color that we used, the Push Pop, and just kind of fix up our crease a little bit. Just make sure everything is blending out nicely here. All right, and then I'm going to take a clean brush, set that guy aside, just something in here. This will work just fine. This is another Morphe brush. This is the M441. And we're just kind of taking that clean brush and just kind of softening everything so we don't have anything too harsh showing up. Which, those first couple shades using the brush, they didn't have too much intense color, but it's just kind of a good habit to kind of keep everything nice and blended out. All right, so that's what we have for eyes so far. We're gonna come back to the shadows here once we get our complexion makeup on, our face products on. But let's go ahead and set the brushes down here, and I'm gonna go ahead and take a look into the eyeliner. All right, so this is called the AOA Studios Wonder Liquid Eyeliner. So as I discussed in my previous video, I do prefer liquid liners. Usually I'll just line the upper line, lash line. I do prefer it to be a pen form. These ones that are like the wand are usually a little trickier. However, if it's what they have available, I'll definitely test it out for you guys. So let's just open this up and let's see what we are working with. So this one is a brush. It's not a felt tip. This one is brush. And it is a brush. When you do pull it out, it doesn't look like too much product comes off. It does come to a nice fine point, which is very nice. Ooh, yes, very, very black. Just kind of quickly swatching on the back of my hand here. Looks like you can get a nice thin defined line. So let's go ahead and do just a simple line here and see how this turns out. So right off the bat, already like super impressed by that. I was able to get a super fine, thin liquid line with it here. Glided on nice and smoothly. Everything's looking good, so I'll go ahead and do the other eye and let's see how that one turns out. Alright, so just from a very first impressions, I thought that went on super well. Super thin line, very easy product to work with. It looks like it's drying down nice and matte, which is very nice. I usually worry with things like that they're going to be messy. However, when pulling the wand out, it does seem like the stopper in there does a really good job of getting a good amount of product to come out and not too much. Yeah, that's very exciting. Let's go ahead and set that off to the side, and we'll go ahead and give the mascara a go. So this mascara is the AOA Studios Fat Lash Mascara. Okay. So this is the wand. Has more rubber bristles than the typical like other bristles. Usually these are actually the kind of bristles that I will prefer. I think it does a really good job of dispensing product onto the lashes. Typically with other ones that are like the standard kind of more spoolie looking, it doesn't comb through the lashes very well, and I think this does a good job of getting enough product to the lashes. So just looking at that, I'm excited for it so far. So let's go ahead and curl our lashes here real quick and give the mascara a go. So first impressions here so far, I like how it is applying the mascara. I have very tiny lashes, so I do wish I would kind of pull them up a little bit more, provide some length. However, it's not quite doing that, but we can definitely coat it up a little bit. But overall, I'm liking how the wand is applying the product. So kind of finish this one up here, try to build it up a little bit more for you guys. And try to come in here so you can kind of see it. So far, I'm liking how that is applying. Let's go ahead and add it to the other lashes. All right, that's the other eye. Typically, those lashes kind of flay out a little bit better than my other ones, so I'm actually very much liking how that's applying. So far, the mascara is performing well. As a first impressions, I'm very satisfied so far with that mascara. We will complete the lower lashes once we complete the eyes, but let's go ahead and dive into the next product, which is going to be a primer. This is the AOA Studios Wonder Skin Illuminating Primer. Okay, so it's in a little tube here. Let's go ahead and kind of just put some out on our hand here. It is a very kind of pinky color, creamy. Definitely has the illuminating factor. You can see it there, very reflective on my hand. It does, just from the quick appearance, may have some blurring aspects to it. So let's go ahead and put that on the face. We'll just kind of put a little bit on our fingers here and apply it. Very illuminating. Woohoo! So that's what it looks like on the face before any foundation. Like I've said, very illuminating. It doesn't appear to be very pore filling like I thought it might. Just very illuminating. It doesn't also feel too grippy or anything. I'm a little worried with the feeling that it is, that the makeup or the foundation isn't gonna sit on the skin for too long. Maybe I applied too much. I tried to be very light with it, but I could have easily done a little too much. But we'll see if that luminosity kind of shines through the foundation, and we'll kind of see how the foundation decides to stay on the skin. So I've got two colors I have to choose from here. But these are the AOA Studio Buildable Satin Foundation. And we have 302 Fair Ivory, and 303 Buff. I think we're gonna start with Fair Ivory and see if that's our color. Usually I'm an ivory girl, but you never know. This one does look a touch yellow. Let's give the other one a go here. Okay, yep, we are gonna use Buff. All right, so the foundation shade that we're gonna use today is going to be the 303 Buff. Just first impressions on this. It does come in a glass bottle. It is a dropper from testing it out here just on my hand and trying to see what was the right color. It's a very liquidy foundation. So I am going to use, the sponge here again. We'll see if that's a good way to apply it. I'm gonna apply the foundation to the back of my hand and then dip in that way. And we'll see kind of how this looks. Alright, I'm gonna try dripping it on my face. I feel like the sponge is like really absorbing the product. I'm gonna try kind of just dropping it on my face here. See if I can get the product on here and then take the sponge to blend that in. That might be a little bit better. So I feel like it is applying nicely. It isn't quite a full coverage. We'll definitely see if maybe I can build that up a little bit. That illuminating primer is definitely showing through, which if you're into that, that's awesome. I do feel that it is kind of showing through a little too illuminating, a little too dewy for me, so I may want to kind of set that down. Let's take a little bit of this on the forehead. Ooh, feel it dripping. Might be a little more than I wanted. Coming in a little bit closer, you can see I think it has decent coverage. It's a very liquidy foundation, definitely dewy. That's what you're into. That's kind of just first impressions right there. We'll kind of see how other products lay over top. Let's go ahead and use that concealer that we used previously and put that over the eyes. I'm kind of wondering, because that was a very matte and really kind of like you had to work with it to get it to move around. I wonder if how that'll work over top of this. I do think it's gonna take away a good amount of that shine. So let's find out. So we're just gonna kind of start just doing a sweep. Like it's so dry feeling. It's so weirdly it pulls. So I'm gonna start with that. I don't know if I need any more or not. Try to really push that in. It definitely took a lot of the shine away up there. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Definitely takes time to work this in. It's an interesting texture, almost like it's got, like it has like a powder or something in it. So like when you try to glide it on your face, the wand kind of grips. It's very interesting. A little bit of that shine is definitely still coming through. However, when I look at it in my mirror over here, it has definitely pulled a lot of that luminosity away. It's kind of covered that up. There is a setting powder that we will use here in just a bit. That might even help that out a little bit more. that's that so far. It's interesting. I'm still like, I don't know. I'm very curious about this. So we'll kind of see if it decides to crease up under the eyes here. Let's actually try to avoid that right away. So let's use our finger here, kind of just make sure we kind of tap out any extra product. Let's dive into the setting powder. We have 2 of them here actually that I'm gonna choose from. Do I want brightening or matte translucent? I think I'm gonna stick with matte translucent because we're pretty loomy. I don't think we need to brighten too much right now. So let's just stick with the matte translucent and see. I think this is super cute. It's a super small little compact. Like I've said, majority of these products are $1. Oh, that's right. The foundation is actually $1.88, so it is more than $1. However, I think for that price point, the fact that it comes in this really nice glass bottle, I think it's important that they're doing that. Everything else though, however, is pretty much $1. So for this setting powder here, let's go ahead and open it up. It's got a nice little protector shield here. What I like to do with these is I like to not actually take them off all the way and just open up like maybe 3 or 4 of the little holes there. Enough that I can get a little bit of product just slightly out, and then cover that back up. This is another e.l.f. one. This one is dry. We're gonna go ahead and use this to set underneath the eyes here real quick. We're not gonna bake anything. We're just gonna quickly put in a little bit of powder just in hopes that nothing moves around there. We'll bring a little bit down the nose here because that can sometimes crease there. We don't want to set too much quite yet. Oops, make a mess. All right, I think that did a really good job so far, just kind of setting everything in place. I think we're starting to look a little back to that normal, not too illumi looking. So let's set that aside for now. We will come back to the setting powder in a little bit to set the rest of the face. However, we will go ahead and quickly dive into, I made a mess, powder everywhere. We will go ahead and dive into our blushes and our highlights now. So for blush, I was able to get just this one here. This one is the blush 260 Darling. Now, just from looking at it here in the package, this looks like a color I would definitely go for. Just kind of slightly kind of rosy. So let's go ahead and open this up. Okay, it's a twist. Interesting. That's what that looks like. Very excited. And for application, we'll just use an e.l.f. angled blush brush. Let's go ahead and dip in there and apply. So just quick first impressions on this blush. I think I'm gonna like this one a lot. It is definitely a color that I really enjoy. Color shows up very nicely. It's nice and buildable. I think it's laying on the skin nicely. Yeah, I like that one. Let's just go ahead and keep moving. I do also want to say we did not have a bronzer, so usually I would have had a bronzer to put on there next, or to put on before the blush. However, I did not find an AOA bronzer, so we did just go ahead and do blush here. But let's see what we have for highlighter. They did have 3 highlighters that I'm going to take a look at here. We've got Blissful, we've got Lure, which I think is the one I'm gonna lean towards, and then there's also this more pinky one, More. So I think we're just going to do, yeah, let's just open up a Blissful. That's what he looks like in there. Now all of these, I'll actually open up one of these so you can kind of see a little bit better. But it has kind of that like swirly effect of like, this one is pinks and whites, and this other one is more like champagne and kind of a lighter silvery color. And the other one's kind of more purpley. So So I think this more white and champagne one is gonna be a good match for my skin. So let's go ahead and use a Sigma F03 Highlight Cheekbone highlighter brush. Go ahead and just kind of dive on in. Let's go ahead and put a little bit on the nose and a little bit to the brow bone, which just quickly do. I do want to take it as well and just kind of grab my finger here real quick and just kind of dot it in the inner corner there. Kind of intensify the eye look a little bit. Yeah. I like that a lot. All right, next let's go ahead and finish setting the face. I know I just did kind of get under the eye. I wanted to put those other powder products on first, but let's go ahead and just make sure the rest of the face is set here. So let's just use that dry sponge here and just quickly kind of just get everywhere else. You could also use a, it's kind of like a fluffy brush at this point, but I kind of just like packing it in real quick. So let's go ahead and take a look at the brow products. So I was able to get a pencil as well as a gel. So it's very, very exciting. The pencil is called the AOA Studios Sculpting Brow Pencil. And I believe this one is in Taupe. That was their more blonde shade. So let's go ahead and open that one up. Open up the pencil here. So there is a spoolie located on one side here. Very interesting. So in my previous video, I explained how I have not messed around with too many brow products here yet. And I was kind of very shocked by the shape of the brow pencil. And it looks like this is the same, which is so interesting. So when I saw it online, I only saw it from the side here and I thought it was just a very thin, angled thin like this. However, when you look at it facing forward, it looks more like a triangle, kind of like a raindrop. So that's very interesting. Maybe I'm just not familiar with how brow pencils usually look, but that just kind of like was interesting to me. And so for me to see it again here on a another dollar product, which was also purchased from the same website, however they are different brands, that was just very interesting. So I enjoyed that one. So let's see how similar this one works as well. Let's take a spoolie. Actually, we have a spoolie brush. Let's take a spoolie here and let's comb our eyebrows and apply the product. The consistency of the product kind of feels powdery in a way. Like it's not too creamy when it goes on, which I think is really, really nice. First impressions so far. Let's go ahead and finish up the other one. There we go. We got two brows on. Yep. So far so good. Let's go ahead and try out the brow gel that came with this one. It is the AOA Studios Go Brow, also in the same color, Taupe. Let's see here. Ooh, that feels To me, that looks like it's really dark. Or really dry. We're gonna try and comb this through our brows. I don't know what's gonna happen. I think it's dried out. I think it's dried out. I don't think it's doing anything. No, it's not doing anything. But that's okay. It didn't ruin them. That's no good. Bye-bye. So let's continue forward then. I believe the next things we have, I think this is our last product actually, or not our last product, our last two products. We're gonna go on to the lips now. So we have a lip liner and we have two matte liquid lips to choose from. Let's go ahead and open up the lip liner here. All right, this is called the AOA Studios Wonder Lip Liner. This is in the shade 2406 Faded. Looks like a nice mauve. I think that's the right way to describe that. It is a pencil, a standard pencil. So let's go ahead and see what happens. We're gonna line and fill in the lips. And first impressions here on the lip liner, it is very light. It doesn't glide super well. It's very drying on the lips. It's definitely cracking up on my lips here. Instead of it feeling like it's adding a color, it feels like it's making my lips lighter in a way, which is very interesting. It kind of looks like I didn't take any foundation off of them or anything like that. So that's strange to me. Maybe it just needs to warm up, I don't know. Let's go ahead and venture forward and try out one of the liquid lips. So we have the Liquid Lip Wonder Matte. This one is in 2029 Extra. And we have 2028 Bougie. Feeling extra or are we feeling bougie? I think we're gonna go with extra. We're gonna open that one up and see what we think. We did not finish up our lower lash. We're gonna come back to that. All right, perfect. So here we have the doe foot for the Liquid Wonder Matte Liquid Lip. There is kind of a grape smell. Let's go ahead and apply this to our lips. So that is what the matte liquid lip looks like. I feel like it dried down really nice on the lips. It does not look like it is intensifying too many lines or cracks in my lips right now. So far, I think that's a nice lay. It doesn't feel too drying on the lips or anything like that, which is very nice. So let's go back real quick and actually finish up our eyes because I forgot about that. So let's finish those up. Let's just go ahead and quickly go into that. Alright, and then next what I want to do is take that darkest shade that we used, the Goblin shade, and just kind of do the same thing, except for just focusing really on the outer part of the eye there. And then you can take kind of what's excess on your brush here and then just make sure you blend that up into the existing shadows up at the top. There we go. That's a little more put together, isn't it? I do want to go back into that first one, push pop, and just kind of soften that about here. Let's go ahead and finish up that lower lash, taking that Fat Lash Mascara. Applying that. Now, I believe that was all of the products. Let's just make sure we're not forgetting any steps here. And we are good. So let's go ahead real quick here, clean up our brushes that we used for the day and talk about the products. So for starters, we used for the concealer here, I'm 50-50 on this one here still. I'm not sure what I think of it. I did notice it creasing here at first, but I do think after I put on the shadows and stuff, I think it did stop that from happening. It doesn't appear to be creasing too much under the eyes after setting it with the powder. It just has a different consistency than what I am used to. It's very, very matte, and it doesn't, like when you put it on, it doesn't glide. Not a lot of product pulls. So I feel like you have to kind of go back in a couple of times, but then going in with your blender here and trying to push the product out it takes a lot to move the product around. It kind of wants to sit wherever you put it down. So I think it's super full coverage, super full matte. You just kind of have to work with it and kind of get used to the consistency of it. So not quite sure where I sit on it yet here. I definitely want to play with it. But if you're into that full coverage and if you're okay with trying to like work the product a little bit, I definitely would take a look at this. The fact that it's $1 I think is super impressive for the coverage that it has. So that's my take on that. And then we have the eyeshadows. Kind of 50-50 as well. I really liked that ivy color. I liked how it applied when using my fingers. However, with a couple of those more brown and darker shades, using a brush was a little tricky and it took some time to actually get the color to kind of show. And the fact that all of these that were provided are all shimmer shades is a little bit of a letdown there. Would have loved to have had a couple of matte products to kind of work with as well. I do think what I'm going to be doing with a lot of these, the fact that I got 12, I'll probably just kind of be picking out my favorites, which are going to be a lot of those more like poppy colors. However, when it comes to more the browns and the blacks in here, they might not be the ones that I tend to kind of stick around and hold on to. So that's kind of my general take on that. However, again, the price is super duper nice. The fact that you're getting 12 of these for $10 I think is super good. So if you do need to get a good set of individual shadows, I would definitely consider this. Might not be too bad to take a look into. Next, what we're going to take a look at was the liquid liner. Yes, I very much enjoyed this liquid liner. This is definitely something I do want to continue using, which is super exciting. I'm not typically a fan of this kind of format. I prefer the pens where you can just quickly glide it on. However, the brush that comes with this allows you to go super thin, super close against the lash line, which I think is very, very nice. So we do want to continue using this one. I think it's a nice I liked the applicator, definitely. That's kind of prefer those more rubbery bristles. I like how they apply the product. However, still not a whole lot of volume to my little mini baby lashes that I have. Still very nice black coverage to them. So that's one that I'm kind of gonna have to mess around with here as well and see kind of if I do decide to continue on using it. All right, so let's go into the face products. The next thing we tested out was the Wonder Skin Illuminating Primer. Very illuminating. I don't know if this is going to be one that I'm going to grab for quite often. It is super illuminating, and it does show through the makeup very well, which if that's something you're into and you like that luminosity, then definitely I would say for $1 this would be a very good thing to get your hands on. However, if you're more used to a closer to a matte coverage or kind of just like a silky coverage, I don't know, this might be a bit much. I'm more leaning towards pass on this guy. He was just a little too loomy for what I would typically go for. And then we have the foundation. I actually was very impressed by it. It was a little tricky to figure out the way that I wanted to apply it. I felt using a sponge, it does just kind of absorb into the sponge right away. So I do want to test that one out a little bit more here. Maybe try applying it with a brush instead and see kind of how it applies the product that way. Dripping it onto the face and then going in with the blender I think worked a lot better. So maybe that's gonna be the preferred way to apply the product. But overall, I think it had really good coverage. That's definitely one that I'm going to continue working with. So that's very, very exciting. And then the next thing would be the blush. So for the blush, yes, this is a definite home run yes for me. I love this shade. I love this color. I do have other ones available. However, this was the one that just stuck out to me the most. And I'm very, very, very happy with the color and the way that it applied on my skin. So this is definitely going to be added to my everyday makeup. I think it's a very cute size, nice and easy for on the go. It was a little different. I was expecting to open it like the majority of the products, and it is a twist top. So that is a little different, however, not a deal breaker at all. Yes to the blush. And moving on is the highlighters. Also, I'm gonna say yes on these guys as well. I did not test out the other ones on here. I did want to just stick to one highlighter for you guys. And this guy, I do think performed very well. It's not over the top, however, I do feel that you could build it up very nicely. Worked great for an inner corner highlight. So very happy with that. I will definitely be adding this one into my routines as well. So for the brows, the pencil and the spoolie, the brow pencil with the spoolie, yes. This is definitely another product that I am going to continue to start using. I think it was a really, really good shade match for my blonde hairs. I liked the nice powdery consistency that it had. It was very easy to work with. The fact that it has the spoolie and it's $1 I think is super good. I think the packaging on this is super cute too, just with the silver lids. It just feels nice and sturdy. So that's definitely an A+ for me. However, the brow gel, I will have to see if I can get another one of these guys because this one is completely dried out. So I don't know how well this performed. However, even without it, I think the brows look great. But I would love to see if maybe this guy does work. However, this current guy, not gonna hold on to, not gonna get much use out of that. Next, what we have is the setting powder. So I decided to stick with the translucent one. There is a brightening one, however, I did not want to add to the luminosity. Now this took back a lot of the luminosity, like a lot. I hardly even used any. I didn't want to do any baking or anything like that. I just wanted to make sure I set underneath the eyes and then kind of just quickly patted it all over the face. And I think it did a very, very, very good job. It's very fine. Made a little bit of a mess, but that's typical for a lot of powders like this, but super fine. And this is definitely something I'm going to continue to be using. Next, we have the lip products. So the Wonder Lip Liner, was not a super fan of the liner here. Maybe it's just the shade I purchased. However, even just applying it, it was a little tricky, kind of tugged a little bit on the lips. It didn't glide too much. So this particular shade, I'm definitely not going to continue to use, but I would be interested in seeing if they have other types of lip liners that might work out a little bit better, but not this guy. And then the liquid matte lipstick. Yes, I do like this color a lot. I do like how this feels on my lips as I've been talking here. It's not drying my lips out too much. It's not caking up or anything like that. I feel like it's staying in place very well so far, so I am very happy and very excited about this, and I do intend to continue to use this. So that's super duper exciting. Overall, I think we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 home run products in my opinion on these, and then a couple of those shadows. So that's super exciting. So let's go ahead and figure out how much this look costs in total, including as if we would have had a working brow gel. We're gonna say that that's part of it, because if you were to do a full face including that. However, we did not have a bronzer. I don't believe that they have a bronzer, and they did not have any form of a setting spray that I could find either. So all of those products put together, so the $10 for the eyeshadows plus the $1.88 for the foundation, and then all the other products being $1, this full face overall price is $22.88. So overall, I think that is a fabulous price. And the fact that we had, I believe, about half, maybe even more than half of these products to be really good products, I think that's a great price for a full face of makeup. I would encourage you guys to go ahead and check out Miss A's website. This AOA brand of theirs is exclusive to that site, and they have a lot of amazing products on there. So I would recommend you guys go ahead and take a look there. If you guys enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a huge thumbs up. If you're interested in these types of videos, I would love for you guys to subscribe, hit that notification bell so you are notified of the next time I post. And if there are any other AOA products that I did not put to the test here, I'd be happy to give them a go. Just give them a type down below. I'd be happy to add them into a future video. Or if there's any products here that you would love to see in a full day wear test, let me know as well. And last but not least, if you have a full brand face recommendation, let me know that information as well below. I'd be happy to add it to the enormous list that I've been building up here as well, and hopefully be able to provide that for you. That is everything for this video. I hope you guys are having an amazing day, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye-bye!